Hello everyone, we'll be doing the mapping section of the month of November. So also check for the series which I've done on science and technology and environment. At the end anyways, I'll be doing the traditional part as well as the current affairs part of the mapping section. Now the first item which is in the news is Maldives. The Maldives has imposed the first country to impose generational tobacco ban. So we need to know some locations in Maldives which can be important for India. So let's see the location of the Maldives. This is where you have the Maldives. So the Maldives is part of this Chagos Lakkadivi ridge. You can see here. So above Maldives you have this Lakshadweep. So according to some scientists, this is the extension of the reunion hotspot. So when the Indian peninsular plateau, when it was moving towards Eurasia, so the reunion hotspot, it has vomited the volcanism, it has vomited the volcanic basaltic rocks, so which have traced these series of islands over here. So this is called as the Chagos Lakkadivi ridge. Remember this. This is also important because this area which you see here, this is Central Indian Ocean Basin. So this is where India is extracting polymetallic nodules, and here you have this Carlsberg ridge. So near this, India is extracting polymetallic sulfide. So Indian interests are here. Now in Chagos Lakkadivi ridge, you have this Maldives, and look at this region over here. The China is not very far. The China has the stinks of the pearl policy. Means all around India and the Indian Ocean, the China has got deep sea ports. The China has got very good friends. The China gives a lot of debts to these countries. So that's why India needs to counter that. So India also befriends these countries, but again recently it has been a big failure, we can say. The India has got certain airstrips over here. India has got certain Dornier aircrafts over here, surveillance aircrafts. India has got listening posts. India has got radars. India has been giving a lot of debts to these countries. And the capital of Maldives, you can see, the capital of Maldives is Malé. So if you zoom in the map and see, you can see the bridge over here. So this bridge has been constructed by China. This is a 1.4 kilometer bridge which has been constructed by China. Now you see these 4 islands from Malé, 1, 2, 3, and this is a 4th one. So this is a 1.4 kilometer bridge, and the Indian government has given loan to Malé to construct a bridge here. So it will be connecting all these 4 islands. And along with that, India is also associated with a lot of other projects in the Maldives. So you can see over here in Maldives, the India has got coastal radar chain, Dornier aircrafts, and also we have 2-3 ships over here. Again, from prelims point of view, this might not be that important. So remember this, Uthuru Tila Falu. So UPSC may ask, where is this Uthuru Tila Falu island located, or it is associated with what? It can ask such kind of question. So next item which is in the news is Australia enacted the world's first social media ban under 16. So recently, one island in Australia has been in the news. So this is Australia. So like India has Sri Lanka, Australia has an island called as Tasmania. So in Tasmania, you have a sand spit called as Dolphin Sands. So here there has been a wildfire. So Dolphin Sands. Remember this item. So next, Quad surveillance of Indian Ocean region bolstering India's maritime security amid Chinese expansion. So again, just now I told you the stings of the pearls policy has China like a chain it is encircling India. So that's why India has to join Quad. So Quad is a grouping of 4 countries in which Australia is also there. And you have an island called as the Cocos Island here. The Cocos Island belongs to Australia, and this is very near to the Strait of Malacca. You can see Strait of Malacca here. So all the oil shipments from Strait of Hormuz, they will go through the Strait of Malacca, and then they will be going into China. So of course, okay, India is establishing a lot of naval and air bases here in Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. But okay, if we can have the cooperation of these Quad countries, then it will act as force multiplier. So therefore, in Cocos Keeling Island, so this can act as an floating aircraft carrier. So here you have 2-3 more straits here. You have Lombok Strait, you have Bali Strait. So these are also choke points over here. And just now you are seeing, okay, the Strait of Hormuz situation. The choke points become very important, especially in the case of war. If some country, okay, is choking it, if it is blocking it, then it becomes very difficult. It can destabilize the world economy. So that's why India needs to have good control over this. So in this context, remember Cocos, and here dolphin sands. So these have been in the news in the month of November. So don't get confused this Cocos Island, okay, with the Cocos Island of Myanmar. The Cocos Island of Myanmar is located here above Andaman Nicobar group of islands. So above Andaman you have this Cocos Channel. The Cocos Channel separates Andaman group of islands with Myanmar. So don't get confused between these two. And the choke points which are near this Cocos Keeling Island, you have Sunda Strait, Lombok Strait. So these two are the important ones. Okay, rest you can ignore. Now, okay, this is the Myanmar's Cocos Island. Now, Colombo Security Conclave. So this is in the news because recently Seychelles has joined as the 6th member in the Colombo Security Conclave. See, the Colombo Security Conclave, so it was formed by India in the year 2011. So it was an maritime cooperation between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, the 3 countries which are near. And later on it has been expanded to Mauritius, Bangladesh, and recently the Seychelles also has joined it. Now look at Seychelles, we have seen in the map just now. The Seychelles is located here. The Seychelles, it is largely made up of the continental islands. So it has got granitic rocks, plus since it is located in the tropical region, it will also have the coral reefs. Now with respect to the Seychelles, one island here becomes very important. This is called as the Assumption Island. So in the Assumption Island, you can see one airstrip over here. So this airstrip has been constructed by India. So Assumption Island, Seychelles. Since we have done Assumption, above Assumption you have one more island called as Aldabra Island. In Aldabra Island you have large turtles. So it is also important in terms of biodiversity. So remember the countries which are part of the Colombo Security Conclave. So next, Victoria, Mahe Island. So don't get confused between Mahe and Malé. So Mahe Island is in Seychelles and Malé is in Maldives. So Victoria is the capital of the Seychelles. So it is a main port. Okay, India has hosted Navy's first training squad. So just now I have shown you this Assumption Island. So Assumption Island, India has got airstrip in Seychelles, and you also have Agalaga Island. So Agalaga Island belongs to Mauritius. So in Agalaga also India has got an airstrip. You see Diego Garcia here. So Diego Garcia, this island belongs to UK, but it has been leased to USA. So USA has got a very big air base and also naval base in Diego Garcia. So next item which is in the news is Cyclone Ditwa. The Cyclone Ditwa has occurred in Sri Lanka, and whenever there is a problem in our neighborhood, India helps our neighbors. So India has come up with Operation Sagar Bandhu. So India has sent its NDRF and rescued Sri Lanka. Now some of the ports here become important with respect to India because there is a Chinese angle as well. Now you see the Colombo port here, it's the world's busiest transshipment hub, and Adani also has a container port over here. Next, Hambantota port. Now it is a very good example of debt trap diplomacy. Means China has given a lot of funds, but the business is not so good. So now Sri Lanka owes a lot of money to China. So here you have this Hambantota port. So this is the Colombo port, and one more port which is important is called as Trincomalee. See, these ports become very important because India is also trying to construct a port in Great Nicobar Island. It's also a transshipment port. So transshipment port means when the ships will be going long distances, so they need refueling, repairs, services, even the sailors, they need food and supplies. So therefore, the ships will be stopping, and also they have to load some of the material, unload some of the material, they'll be doing trade. So on the way the ships will be taking a halt. So India is also building in Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. So basically our new transshipment port, which will be operated by Mr. Adani. So here we have the competitors. So in that context we should know these ports. And one more port here in North Jaffna. So Jaffna is important because we have a lot of Tamilians here in northern and eastern part of Sri Lanka. So you have lot of Tamil population. So here you have a small port in northern Jaffna called as Kanaka Santurai. So this port, this island is also in the news because of the conflict between India and Sri Lanka. So these are some of the locations which are important with respect to Sri Lanka. Now Mount Sumeru. So Mount Sumeru volcano, this is in Indonesia. So Indonesia is located along this Java Sunda Trench. The Indo-Austral plate is undergoing subduction beneath the Eurasian plate, and because of which you have this Java Sunda Trench. So therefore, along these islands, so here you have the Sumatra Island, Java Island, Bali Island, Lombok Island. You have this series of islands over here. So on these islands, you have numerous volcanoes. So one of the volcano, Mount Sumeru, has been busted. And also on Sumatra, Sumatra is the largest island of Indonesia. There were severe floods. So the flooding has been so intense, though Sumatra has a lot of forest, equatorial forest, but because of the cultivation of plantation, that is, they have a lot of palm oil cultivation. So because of that, the hills have been destabilized, the forest has got lost the absorption capacity. So that's why it has resulted into a lot of flooding. So in this context, some of the ports become very important, one of the straits become very important. So also because of this Iran war, this Strait of Hormuz situation, so you should know important choke points, the important straits also you should know. So you have Strait of Malacca, which is near Singapore, between Malaysia and Indonesia, and you have Sunda Strait here. So these strait become very important. Other important strait over here, so this is also Lombok Strait. So this is Sumatra Island, between Sumatra and Java. You have Sunda Strait. Between Java and this is small island called as Bali, and this is a Lombok Strait. So beside Lombok you have Lombok Strait. So these are some of the important straits over here, and most of the Chinese oil shipments, they go from here. So in this context, the Strait of Malacca becomes very important, and also you have the USS air base called as Diego Garcia in the previous item which I have discussed that. And also Cocos killing, you don't forget here, which belongs to Australia. So in case of अगर India और China की लड़ाई हो जाती है, so through Quad, so India can target these straits, and of course in Andaman Nicobar India has presence. So अंडमान सी में इंडिया का प्रेजेंस भी है. तो जैसे हॉर्मूज का सिचुएशन हो रहा है, सो इंडिया को भी चोक पॉइंट्स को होल्ड करके रखना चाहिए. And some of the important islands and locations here, Senakaku Islands. Senakaku, also called as Diagu Islands. So these are disputed between the Japan and China. Then you have Nankai Trough. So मानकाई ट्रफ में 70 to 80% of mega quake risk होते हैं, means Richter scale 8 9 के ऊपर. Okay, you have this earthquakes here. Next, Kuril Islands. So these are disputed between Russia and Japan, and these are along the Ring of Fire. Then Minamoto. Then you have this Minamoto Torishima Island. So here rare earth seabed mining is taking place. Again, okay, this region has Chinese monopoly, so it might get in conflict with China. Fukushima Daiichi, you must be knowing this. So 2011 nuclear disaster has happened, which has been turning point. And also you have Okinawa. So Okinawa has the US base. You can see all the islands over here. So this is your Senakaku and Diagu Islands. So it is very near to Taiwan, very near to China, and all these are Japanese islands because you have this Rokyu trench. So wherever you have trenches, behind the trench you will be having volcanic archipelagos. So these volcanic archipelagos, they extend in the form of arc. So that's why you have Japanese islands till here. So next you have this Nankai Trough. So Nankai Trough is okay, it is very much prone to earthquakes. So that's why it's also, the Japan is also prone to tsunamis. This is also where you have this Fukushima Daiichi. So this is the northernmost island of Japan. This island is comparatively colder because of the cold current, Oashio. It's also comparatively less populated than the other islands of Japan. So this also, you remember, Kamchatka Peninsula, it belongs to Russia. A lot of mega thrust earthquake also happened here. So recently there has been a very big explosion and a very big explosive earthquake has taken place in Kamchatka. Now again you have Kuril Trench here. This is Kuril Trench. So wherever you have trench, behind the trench you will be having islands. So this is a volcanic archipelago. So these are the Kuril Islands. So Kuril Islands are disputed between, okay, the southern islands over here, they're disputed between Japan and Russia. So obviously, okay, wherever you have small islands, because they won't be having a very long history of occupation, and these islands can be emerged at any time. एक जोर से subduction हो गया, एक नया island हो गया. If new island is emerging, okay, say between two countries, again two countries will be fighting with each other. So that's why these are often prone to the disputes. Next, Minamotorishima Island. Okay, it is located here. So here, okay, in the Pacific Ocean, you have a lot of rare earth metals. You have these nodules in which you'll be having rare earth metals. The China, okay, has monopoly here. It's also called as, okay, Southern Bird Island. So this also in the news. Anyway, सब नाम देखते हुए Japan बोल के आप पहचान लोगे. Then you have this Senakaku, Diagu. Just now we have discussed this, and these are the archipelagos of Japan which are extending to. So let's see some of the important locations in Vietnam. So why we are seeing, because recently in Hanoi, so India hosted, okay, India and Vietnam, they hosted a defense dialogue, okay, in the 2025. So some of the islands become very important. Of course, you should know the capital, Ho Chi Minh City is a capital. And off the coast of Vietnam, okay, you have Block 128. So this is part of the South China Sea. So ONGC Videsh Limited, okay, OVL, it has been exploiting oil and gas off the shore of Vietnam. But the China, through 9-dash line, it is claiming the entire South China Sea, in which this block is there. So not only these blocks, the China is also claiming the Paracel Islands, Spratly Islands. Also it is claiming Scarborough Shoal. Scarborough Shoal is an artificial island. So that's why you should know all these important locations. So this is the South China Sea. You can see the 9-dash line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now recently China has drawn the 10th dash line also. This is where the 10th dash line is there. So through 10th dash line, that China is claiming Taiwan as well. That means China बोल रहा है कि भाई a bell shaped EZ पूरा हमारा ही है. Means इसमें जितने भी minerals होंगे पूरा China को belong करेगा. Now this is where your Vietnam is. So off the shore of Vietnam, here you have this block 128 where OVL is mining petroleum and gas. So therefore we should also know other islands which are in the dispute, and obviously अभी तो चाइना ने पूरा हड़प के रखा है ये वाला islands को, ध्यान रखना, Paracel Island, Spratly Island and Scarborough Shoal. So Paracel, Spratly, okay, these are chain of island, group of islands which are natural, but Scarborough Shoal it is artificial, वो Philippines के पास है, ये ध्यान रखना. So this is where your block 28 is there. So this is where Vietnam is there, and these are also some of the other blocks in which oil and gas is there. So this is where 9 dash line is there. So this is where OVL, ONGC Videsh Limited is mining resources. Again, Iran, anything which is in Iran becomes very important. You have Lake Umria. You see here Lake Umria. So Lake Umria is on the western side. You see it is near Turkey, it is near Iraq. Now, the lakes which are there in this region, like you have Dead Sea, Lake Umria, Lake Van in Turkey. So these lakes, they have inland drainage. And if you are having a river, inland drainage means यहाँ पे एक छोटी सी river आती है और river will be filling the water in these lakes. And moreover, these are located in the desert region. अभी desert region में dilution कम होता है, बारिश कम आती है, जो भी lake में पानी आना है river के through आना होता है. अगर आप river के along, एक river आ रही है, river के along पूरा आपने dam construct कर दिया, so इस lake में पानी नहीं आएगा, लेकिन evaporation होते रहेगा. So dilution is less, the fresh water addition is less, and evaporation keeps on happening. So these lakes will become drier and drier, and they will become more saline. So that's why most of the lakes in this region, okay, यहाँ पे Turkey में, Iraq में, Israel, Jordan, okay, here, Iran. So these lakes are very saline. And these saline lakes in the desert region, they are also called as playas. So recently, there have been a lot of irrigation, okay, the people have been constructing a lot of dams for drinking water purposes. So because of which these lakes are drying. And recently UPSC has been asking questions, recently पूछा है, okay, अगर जहाँ पे भी lakes dry हो रहा है ना, so वहाँ से UPSC questions पूछ रहा है. And of course, you know, Strait of Hormuz, it's very important. We'll be discussing this in the month of Jan and Feb में, इसमें ज़्यादा discuss करेंगे, मार्च में और भी ज़्यादा discussion करेंगे मार्च के current affairs में. So security point of view, okay, Strait of Hormuz से 20% of the global oil, आजकल आप न्यूज़ में बहुत सुन ही रहे हो, okay, पुराना current affairs है, and 25% of the LNG, liquefied natural gas, okay, is there here near Qatar. यहाँ पे जो ship दिख रहा है ना, यहाँ पे एक island है South Pars. This South Pars, this island is shared between Iran and Qatar. This is Qatar. So यहाँ पे this is the world's richest gas field है. So यहाँ पे जो gas निकलता है natural gas, उसको compress करके ship में भेजते हैं. Okay, and it is narrowest, okay, 33 किलोमीटर wide है. And जो भी भारी ship है, ये ईरान के तरफ से जाना पड़ता है, because ईरान के तरफ है ना, towards Iranian side, it is deeper. So big ships have to go through Iranian side. So Iran, okay, if Iran does not allow, no ship can pass through here. And it is a choke point, okay, here near this Yemen, you have this Bab-el-Mandeb. Again in Bab-el-Mandeb, okay, यहाँ पे Houthi rebels है. The Houthis are Shias who are in Yemen. Okay, this is Yemen. So Yemen में Houthi rebels है, and यहाँ पे Strait of Hormuz में ईरानी है. So the Iran can control these two ports very easily. So let's see some of the locations which are important with respect to Ethiopia. Of course, the capital Addis Ababa. So next COP 32 in 2027, it will be taking place in Addis Ababa. And you have this Azab. Okay, Azab is in Eritrea. So you can see the Ethiopia, the country is landlocked. इसका sea access नहीं है. So it has to, okay, अगर trade करने के लिए sea का access बहुत ही important होता है. So कभी इथोपिया यहाँ पे सोमालीलैंड से negotiation करता है, कभी एरिट्रिया से negotiation करता है कि भैया हमें access दे दो. So that's why these countries which have sea access become very important to Ethiopia. And recently in Ethiopia, okay, there has been ethnic violence. अभी इतना सारा ethnic violence क्यों होता है? Because here you have the Great African Rifting. Means यहाँ पे divergent plate boundary है. And इस divergent plate boundary के दोनों तरफ you have volcanic eruptions. So यहाँ पे undulating landscape है. मतलब ऊपर नीचे बहुत सारे पहाड़ है. And इतने सारे पहाड़ अगर होंगे, you'll be having a lot of cultural and linguistic diversity होगा. So that's why Ethiopia has a lot of diversity. And इतने सारे tribes, ethnicities, if they are joined under one banner, एक देश में हो गए, अगर कोई एक ethnicity दूसरे ethnicity पे dominate करेगा, so it will be prone to the conflicts. So one such ethnic conflict has taken place very recently, and has taken place against Tigray. So Tigray region भी है, Tigray एक ethnicity भी है. A lot of bloodshed has taken place against Tigray people. So earlier the Tigray people were ruling, वो लोग राज कर रहे थे, लेकिन इतना राज कर लिया कि सबको लूट लिया, बाकी लोगों को गुस्सा आ गया, इनको भगा दिया. So that's why the Tigray के लोग इरिट्रिया में भागे, सूडान में चले गए, and कुछ लोग साउथ सूडान में भी गए. So because of which, there are a lot of internally displaced people. So in all this context, so this becomes very important. So जब ये टिग्रे के अगेंस्ट ये जीनोसाइड हो रहा था, एथनिक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो रहा था, यूपीएससी सीधा टिग्रे के बारे में नहीं पूछा. यूपीएससी पूछा अमारा रीजन कहाँ है, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ इन्फ्लक्स. तो टिग्रे के लोग जो है अमारा रीजन में जा रहे थे. तो यूपीएससी कभी भी फर्स्ट लेयर में जाके क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछता, सेकंड और थर्ड लेयर में जाके क्वेश्चन पूछता है. दैट्स व्हाई व्हेनेवर आई डिस्कस आई बीट अराउंड द बुश. सी यहाँ पे न्यूज़ क्या है, सिंपली यही न्यूज़ है. नेक्स्ट COP विल बी टेकिंग प्लेस इन दिस इथियोपिया, बस वो वाला न्यूज़ है. बट वी नीड टू डिस्कस एवरीथिंग अराउंड द बुश. सो असाब, इट्स इन एरिट्रिया, Red Sea port access, because Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Next, Berbera. So you have this Somaliland over here. So this is called as the Somaliland. The Somaliland is independent from Somalia. Means for all practical purposes, it has become independent. अलग ही रूल है. तो यहाँ पे एक पोर्ट है बर्बरा. So again, Ethiopia is negotiating with Somaliland to get a sea route access. That's why it is important. Now, Afar Junction. So, Afar is located here. It is located on divergent plate boundary. So, यहाँ पे इतना सारा volcanism होता है, and sometimes it becomes very mineral rich also. But again, in Afar, you have a region called as a Danakil Depression. So, Danakil is considered to be inhospitable. ये भी UPSC में पूछा है. Next, Tigray region, of course I told you, and we'll discuss this GRD also. So this is what the Afar junction, we are talking about. So this is a great African rifting. So this great African rifting is also running into Red Sea, and also it is running into Dead Sea fault. And जब भी ऐसे क्रैक होता है अर्थ में, you'll be having a triple junction. Means क्रैक जो है तीनों तरफ फैलता है. सो इस तीन क्रैक्स में वन ऑफ द क्रैक्स विल बिकम रिडंडेंट, और फेल हो जाता है. दिस फेल्ड आर्म इज कॉल्ड एज एलिकोजन, एंड दिस फेल्ड आर्म is Gulf of Aden. So Gulf of Aden is not expanding. So this Red Sea is expanding. So future में this Nubian plate and Arabian plate, they'll be moving away from each other. Similarly, the Somali plate will be drifting away from Africa. So this will move away from Africa. So it will move towards India. And आज जहाँ पे Western Ghats है, वहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा हिमालय पर्वत बनेगा in the future. Means after 100-200 million years. So this will be called as Somalaya. Maybe. Now Danakil Depression. This is along the Afar Triple Junction. This place is completely inhospitable because the hot fumes from the Earth's interiors will be coming out here, and the yellow coloration here is because of the sulfur content. So next is this Eritrea, anyway I have shown you. So this is Aseb port. Aseb port is very near to the Yemen. So this axis, this choke point is called as Bab-el-Mandeb. So Bab-el-Mandeb will be connecting the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. And again Somaliland. So this entire thing is Somalia. But again, the Somaliland is independent, and Puntland which you see here, which is part of the Somalia, okay, it is wanting autonomy. ये independence नहीं मांग रहा है, Puntland autonomy मांग रहा है. And Somaliland is comparatively more prosperous in Somalia. And you have Berbera port over here. So next one is the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. So this is a river Nile. So river Nile has, okay, two. One is the Blue Nile, other is the White Nile. So White Nile का origin जो है, that is Lake Victoria. So Lake Victoria is a freshwater lake, and Blue Nile, it comes from Ethiopia. Now Ethiopia is building Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. So when it builds the dam, obviously in the lower riparian regions, less water will be going. So that's why the Sudan is not so happy, क्योंकि उनको कम पानी मिलेगा. So remember this dam, and of course remember other dams also over here. You have one very large dam called as Aswan Dam on River Nile in Egypt. So next, which is in the news, is Lake Turkana. So Lake Turkana, it is also along the Great African Rifting. So ये भी इसमें inland drainage होता है. So आसपास के जो भी rivers है, small streams है, उसमें इसको पानी जाता है. लेकिन अगर streams के along आप डैम्स बिल्ड कर रहे हो इरिगेशन पर्पस के लिए या ड्रिंकिंग वाटर पर्पस के लिए, सो इसमें पानी नहीं जाएगा. सो लेक टुर्काना भी धीरे धीरे श्रिंक हो रहा है. एंड द रिवर ऑन विच यू आर बिल्डिंग अ लॉट ऑफ डैम्स इज ओमो रिवर. सो रिमेंबर ओमो रिवर एंड लेक टुर्काना ऑल्सो. सिंस okay, you are doing Lake Turkana, so this is where Lake Turkana is. So Turkana is on the eastern side of the Great African Rifting. And since a rift valley lake है, ये सूख रहा है, you should also know other lakes which are part of Great African Rifting. Since Turkana is in the news, you should also know other rift valley lakes over here. You have Lake Malawi, you have Lake Tanganyika. Lake Kivu is very important because of M23 rebels. So this is located between the Rwanda and the DRC. Remember this, don't forget. And you have Lake Edward, Lake Albert, these are some of the important ones. So this is the Rift Valley, Great African Rifting. It has got this eastern branch as well. Now this eastern branch, this is not that active, this has failed. So next country which is in the news is Bangladesh. When it comes to Bangladesh, some of the ports has become very important. You have the Chittagong port, you have Mongla port, and you have the port of Dhaka here. So Chittagong port is a deep sea port. So India wants to have the access to the northeast, because if you want to go through the Chicken Neck, so it becomes very long, it's around 1700 1800 kilometers. Now if you want to have access towards the northeast, from Kolkata port you can directly go to the Mongla, or from Kolkata you can go to Chittagong and you can have access to the northeast. So here the river Brahmaputra, okay, which then becomes river Meghna also, river Padma also, river Jamuna also. They have got a lot of tributaries and distributaries. So through these tributaries and distributaries, so India can have good access to the northeast. So that's why these ports become very important. But Chittagong port, the Chinese submarines also visit. So from Kolkata, you can go to Chittagong, and from here we are also in talks with this Cox's Bazar port, and also we have one more port here in Myanmar, that is the port Sitwe port. So through these ports we can have access towards the northeast, because if you want to develop the northeastern region, then we need to have good trade, because not so many economic opportunities are available there. Now this is the route, remember these ports over here. And then in the news is this Bhashan Char Island. So this Bhashan Char Island, which is located here, a lot of Rohingya refugees have come. So the Bangladeshi government has given this island, okay, for this rehabilitation and resettlement, because this is a Rakhine province of Myanmar. So in the Rakhine province of Myanmar, there are a lot of Muslims, and Myanmar is a Buddhist state. So the ethnic conflicts have taken place between the Buddhists and the Muslims. Therefore, the Muslims had to flee. So therefore, the Bhashan Char island has been given to this Rohingya refugees. And India is giving, okay, India has helped Bangladesh in the construction of Padma Bridge project. So Padma Bridge project is along this Brahmaputra river, which becomes Jamuna, and after meeting Ganga, it becomes Padma river, and finally, when it becomes the distributary, when the river undergoes braiding, it becomes Meghna river. So next is Botswana. So Botswana is along the Katanga Shield region, and wherever you have the shield regions, they are rich in minerals, and Botswana is very rich in diamonds. It's world's #1 in terms of the value and 2 by volume. So President Murmu, okay, has visited this, and also we have got Cheetah Pact from South Africa, Botswana and Namibia. So India has imported cheetahs, and also $500 million rupees of trade is also taking place here. And these two are some of the important mines. So from here, the raw diamonds, they come to Surat in India. In Surat, these diamonds are processed, and it also has an UNESCO site called as Okavango Delta, where the Okavango River will be undergoing inland drainage, and since it is located in savanna, and savanna is there in the northern hemisphere, it's there in southern hemisphere as well. So whenever it becomes dry, so whenever there is a drought in northern part, means northern hemisphere में जब summers होता है, so southern hemisphere में पानी आता है, so that's why the animals will be migrating. So animals keep migrating. So whenever the water comes, during the monsoonal season here, a lot of water come. That's why animals also come in this Okavango Delta. So next one, which is in the news, is this Munduruku indigenous people. So they have protested at COP30 because they have been demanding Amazon highway construction. So these Munduruku people, they are in the para state here. So the COP30, it has taken place in Belém. Okay, so Belém is in the para state of Brazil. So they have been protesting because they want their territory to be recognized. They want their region to be demarcated, and the name of their territory is Savre Moibu and Savre Bapim. And also a lot of petroleum extraction is taking place here, so they are protesting against these things. So next one, which is in the news, is this Tapajos river. So along this Tapajos river, this Munduruku people will be living. So remember this river, this Tapajos river is the tributary of this Amazon river. Now next country which is in the news is Nigeria. So the Middle Eastern region, is in conflict. So India has to source its oil from somewhere else. So India is now buying oil from USA also. So India, now USA has allowed India to buy oil from Russia, and also Nigeria has oil. So Nigeria is in top 10. The Niger Delta of Nigeria has got oil. But again, this country is also prone to a lot of problems. So Boko Haram, because whenever we'll be bringing the oil shipments, so since there is very high amount of unemployment here, the people join terrorist groups. So what if they hijack our ship? It's also prone to a lot of piracy. So in this context, the Boko Haram group becomes very important. So Boko Haram, literally means Western education is forbidden. Haram matlab which is forbidden. Boko means Western education or West. So next, Niger river you have to remember here, and Lake Chad basin. So Lake Chad is in the junction and it's also drying very fast. So some of the important locations over here. So Niger Delta, important for oil militancy, etc. Lake Chad Basin, so you have Boko Haram also. You have one more terrorist group over here called as ISWAP. Abuja, it's a capital. Lagos, it's a commercial capital. Means ये दिल्ली जैसा है, ये मुंबई जैसा है. नशिया, बोर्नो स्टेट, यहाँ पे सुसाइड बॉम्बिंग्स वगैरह हुआ है. So here you can see the Niger River. So Niger River, the source is Guinea Highlands. So यहाँ पे Guinea Highlands है. So यहाँ पे 25% of the world's bauxite भी मिलता है. That is important. So from here the river Niger originates, and here in Gulf of Guinea, Niger Delta में it is very rich in oil. So 90% of the Nigeria's oil, okay, is produced here. But again, it is also prone to oil spills, piracy, armed militancy, etc. So that is hurting India's interests. So Lake Chad Basin, it is located between Niger, Chad, Nigeria, also in Cameroon. So recently such kind of locations have been asked in UPSC. So it is becoming shallow, it is shrinking, and is the epicenter of Boko Haram and ISWAP. Now Boko Haram, okay, it's a terrorist organization. Earlier ISWAP was part of Boko Haram, लेकिन इनके बीच में differences आ गया. Now ISWAP has been separated, split from Boko Haram. Next you have Borno state over here. The Borno state is a stronghold of Boko Haram since 2009. So in UPSC they will be asking such kind of states or regions which are in conflicts, or they have become independent, or they have become the stronghold of any terrorist groups. So rest of the things you can ignore. Next you have Guinea-Bissau. So Guinea-Bissau में 2025 में coup हुआ था. So in one of my previous videos I talked about all the countries which have been facing coups, and 98% of the काजू जो इंडिया को यहाँ से आता है, Guinea-Bissau से आता है. And here you have Bijagos Islands or Bijagos Archipelago. You see the group of islands over here near Guinea-Bissau. So they are very rich in terms of biodiversity. So next is the Bahrain. So Bahrain में US का 5th fleet है. आजकल आप देख रहे हो ईरान वॉर में, so US के fleets जो है, so US का जो bases जो है यहाँ पे okay GCC countries में है, and they are waging against war against Iran over here. So that's why it is very important. So they are pivotal, they are important for the security of Strait of Hormuz, लेकिन कुछ नहीं कर पा रहा है. So India ties deepened via 5th HGC. So इंडिया और बहरीन के बीच में मीटिंग हुआ था, एंड इंडिया के नेवल फ्लीट भी यहाँ पे विजिट करते रहते हैं. सो बायलैटरल टॉक्स हो रहे हैं दोनों के बीच में, एंड बायलैटरल ट्रेड ओके बिटवीन दीज टू इज अराउंड $1.7 billion. नेक्स्ट स्लोवेनिया. So स्लोवेनिया और इंडिया के बीच में रिसेंटली देयर इज अ पुश फॉर बायलैटरल ट्रेड. So that's why it is important. You should know the location of Slovenia. So Slovenia देखो यहाँ पे है. It has sea route access. जब आप मैप में देखोगे ऐसे लगेगा कि उसका sea route access नहीं है. And this is the Adriatic Sea, very important. Ionian Sea. Okay, these two are important here. And in the other videos I talked about okay this erstwhile Yugoslavia, and Yugoslavia से कितने देश अलग हो गए, and to which all countries you have sea route access. वैसे यहाँ पे स्लोवेनिया को है सी रूट एक्सेस. यहाँ पे दिखता है कि पूरा सी कोस्ट क्रोएशिया के पास है, लेकिन यू ऑल्सो हैव बोस्निया हर्ज़ेगोविना, इट ऑल्सो हैज सी रूट एक्सेस, ऑफ कोर्स मोंटेनेग्रो, एंड यू हैव अल्बानिया ऑल्सो. सो वन मोर कंट्री विच इज इन द न्यूज़ इज वोजवोडिना. सो वोजवोडिना okay is part of Serbia, but again it is autonomous. Okay, it is kind of independent. And recently the Kosovo has become an independent state from Serbia. And all these earlier, okay, they were part of erstwhile Yugoslavia, पूरा Yugoslavia के part थे. लेकिन the Serbians जो है, Serbs, these are ethnic Slavs. In Slavs मतलब, okay, इनका जो ethnicity है, थोड़ा बहुत रशिया के साथ मिलता है, रशिया. So the Slavs were dominating the non-ethnic Slavs. Means non-Slavs के against ये dominate कर रहे थे. So because of the domination they got separated. So that's why If you have a country with lot of diversity, then one group should not be dominating on the other. In future, it will lead to bifurcation, okay, and insurgency issues. So next country which is in the news is Denmark, Greenland. So US, okay, Mr. Trump, okay, he has been threatening a lot that he will take over Greenland. And जब वो वेनेजुएला टेक ओवर किया उसके बाद बोला कि ग्रीनलैंड पे हमला करेंगे. So here Greenland belongs to Denmark. So and it is very important because it is very rich in terms of minerals, because it is the extension of the Canadian Shield, and wherever you have these shield regions, they are very rich in minerals, and it has become geopolitical hotspot. The white Iberian lynx, okay, is spotted for the first time. Now, geography point of view, Iberian Peninsula becomes very important. So this part, okay, is called as Iberian Peninsula. So the Portugal, Spain, दोनों को मिला के Iberian Peninsula बोलते हैं. So one more choke point, okay, which has been in the news is Strait of Gibraltar. Now, Strait of Gibraltar appears to be between Spain, so this is the Spain and this is Morocco. So दोनों के बीच में ऐसा लगता है, लेकिन यहाँ पे Gibraltar जो है, this territory, it belongs to UK, and you see Ceuta here, this belongs to Spain. So technically it is between UK and Spain, UK in the north and Spain in the south, and these two control the Strait of Gibraltar. So wherever you have such kind of choke points, they have become very important. So please look into all these choke points. Now Spain has got enclaves. अभी Ceuta के enclave है, Gibraltar to UK को belong करता है, and you have this Melina. Now there are a lot of problems in Africa. That Africa is not that rich. People, okay, don't have employment. So therefore, they are moving towards the green pastures. So that's why refugee influx is taking place into Ceuta and Melina. So that's why they have become the flashpoints between Spain and Morocco. Now in Spain, you see a location called as Valencia. So Valencia में flash floods आए थे, बहुत सारे लोग मर गए थे. So this is also an example of a climate extreme. And since we are talking about the influx of lot of immigrants, so यहाँ पे जो Canary Islands है, the Canary Islands, they belong to the Spain, and a lot of people from Western Africa, Morocco, Algeria, a lot of African people come over here, and they get access to the Europe. So that's why a lot of problems are happening here. So since Canary Island के पास you have this Canary cold current also. So this cold current is coming from the Arctic region, because of which you have this so because of this Canary cold current, you have the desert as well. Now since anyways Canary किया है, तो यहाँ पे Madeira, this belongs to Portugal, and you have Azores Island here. Azores also belongs to Portugal. So in geography अगर पढ़ा है तो Azores high पढ़ा होगा आपने. Means there is a lot of high pressure over here. Air mass के chapter में आपने पढ़ा होगा. And also with respect to cyclones and bomb cyclones in North America, so this Azores high will be playing a very important role. Next, Raulane festival in Kinnaur district of Himachal. Okay, remember this, आपके history और art and culture के point of view से they can ask this. Next, Gogabi Lake in Bihar, it becomes the 94th Ramsar site. And जितने भी Ramsar site you come across in Bihar or UP, so they are oxbow lakes. ये blindly remember करना, क्योंकि river जब भी divert meander करके turn लेती है, अगर वो cut off हो जाता है वो वाला part, then that becomes an oxbow lake. Now Sangai festival, Manipur's biodiversity celebration. So you have this Lake Loktak in Manipur, so which is in between the mountains. So biodiversity wise it is very important. So in this you have Sangai deer also, and यहाँ पे जो floating land जो दिख रहा है ना, this floating land are called as phumdis. These phumdis are made up of the biological matter with varying degrees of decomposition. So summer के महीने में जब पानी का level low होता है, ये जो फुमड़ी जो है नीचे चले जाता है. So नीचे जाके जब जमीन पे चिपकेगा, तो नीचे जितना भी कीचड़ है, silt, वो जमा हो जाता है, it becomes thick. and during the monsoonal season it will start floating. So when it floats, so नीचे ज़मीन से सिल्ट आया, मिनरल्स आया, अगेन उसके ऊपर पेड़ पौधे घास वगैरह उगता है, मीन्स बायोलॉजिकल मैटर विल बी एक्यूमुलेटेड अगेन. So this process of going up and down, dry season में नीचे it will take away all the nutrients, and during the monsoonal season it will come up again, a lot of organic matter will grow. So that is how the thickness of the pumdis was maintained. But आपने क्या किया? You have built a dam over here. So when you build a dam, the water will become stagnant. So pumdis जो है नीचे नहीं जाएगा. जब वो pumdis नीचे नहीं जाएगा तो it will not be accumulating this silt. So minerals नहीं आएंगे. So the pumdis are becoming thinner and thinner. This is also called as the floating lake. It's the only floating lake in the world. इतनी अच्छी biodiversity uniqueness थी, हमने उसको ख़त्म कर दिया. A lot of eutrophication is also taking place. So आसपास के जितने भी गांव वगैरह हैं, because of our agriculture, type of agriculture which we do, where we use lot of fertilizers, and इस fertilizers में जो भी nitrates होते हैं, phosphates होते हैं, जब ये nitrates and phosphates when they'll be coming in the lake, they'll cause a lot of eutrophication. So a lot of other weeds, a lot of trash, starts growing in this. The lake is being polluted, and इस lake में जो deer होती है, इसको बोलते हैं sangai deer. So since this sangai deer, when it will be going on the pumdis, so pumdis जो है unstable होते हैं, means kind of they are floating objects, right? जब एक deer उसके ऊपर जाता है तो deer ऐसे ऐसे हिलने लगता है. So that's why आपको लगता है कि deer dance कर रहा है. So that's why it is also called as dancing deer. So this is all about this Kebul Lamjau National Park. इसको Kebul Lamjau National Park भी बोलते हैं. So next one is Dogki, also called as Umgot River. So this is the only transparent river in India. So जितना भी डेप्थ है ऊपर से नीचे दिखता है. But because of the highway construction in Meghalaya's Jaintia Hills, lot of debris is going inside. जितना आप जब भी हाईवे कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हो, आपको ड्रेजिंग करते हो, खुदाई करते हो, so ऊपर का जितना भी मिट्टी है इसके लेक के अंदर जा रहा है. So because of which इसका जो ट्रांसपेरेंसी जो है वो ख़त्म होते जा रहा है. So that's why it's in the news. So remember this river, Dwaki River. So this is where you have this Dwaki River. So Dwaki River will be going into Bangladesh. Anyways आपने ये वाला टॉपिक छेड़ ही दिया. So यहाँ पे एक रिवर है called as Kopali River. So recently a lot of this rat hole mining is also news. यहाँ पे बहुत सारा लोग भी मर रहे हैं. Now because of this illegal mining in this area, rat hole mining की वजह से a lot of rivers are getting polluted, and one such river which is getting polluted is also Kopali River. So remember these two. Next is Ambaji marble. इसको GI status मिला है. So it is originated in Ambale in Ambaji, Gujarat. So it's in Aravalli Hills. So it is famous because 95.8% whiteness होता है इसमें, बहुत white होता है. 19% it has this calcium carbonate, and it is used in temples because of its whiteness. ना दिलवारा temple जो माउंट आबू के ऊपर है, जो जैन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जैन टेम्पल है, तो उसमें ये वाला यूज़ होता है. एंड न्यू पार्लियामेंट में भी इसका यूसेज हुआ है. नेक्स्ट लेक तुर्काना इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज जेड सी, so which you have seen, it is shrinking. So all these things we have seen. Next, so this is science and technology. We'll do it later. So we have done the mapping part of the month of the November. Next keep checking the series. I have done the month of October also, September also. Next I will be doing December. So environment part I will not be doing. I will be doing the science and technology part and the mapping part. Please check. And by the end of the April, I will be doing a comprehensive mapping section also. So keep watching. Thank you.